speaker, one on one. Fire, the seeker, the motorcade, the trying to steal your name, but now you got a gun. And this is for the people of the sun who's coming back around again. This is for the people of the sun who's coming back around again. It's coming back around again.
Rage Against the Machine are a rap metal band from LA. They were formed in 1991 and they've been on and off since. They've had periods of on, periods of off, and their periods of on have been just a couple of years more than their periods of off of that period of time. And they're currently, as I record this introduction for the band, they're currently on. Okay, so there's a guy called Zach De La Rocha, who's the rapper here. The other guys are the instrumentalists, the guitarist, bassist, and drummer, Tom, Tim, and Brad. Okay, so when you look at this information about them, I found a curious fact, which is that all three of them also have been in or are in a band called Audio Slave, which is basically Rage Against the Machine with a different front guy, who's a guy who was also in the band Soundgarden. And Tim, Tom, and Brad are also, or have also been in a band called Prophets of Rage, which has got more guys in it. But again, it's basically another version of Rage Against the Machine, but it's got a DJ and a couple of rappers in. So Rage Against the Machine are known for their political and angry lyrics. They've sold a lot of records and been very popular, despite only having 4 studio albums. Hi, my name's Dan. So this is the second album by Rage Against the Machine, and I've heard of them. I've heard some of their stuff before, but it's my first time listening to this album as an album. It went straight in at number 1 on the US Billboard album charts when it was released. And I would definitely describe it as rap metal or something similar. I think the metal is maybe a little strong at times. Sometimes it definitely sounds like it's metal. Sometimes it sounds more like heavy rock. In some ways, the kind of rock aspects of it remind me. Oh, they remind me of all sorts of things, but it reminds me a bit of the White Stripes because it's quite empty feel to it. So it's quite empty and crunchy. There are instrumental. There's a bass, guitar, drums. And the bass, guitar and drums. And the rapping on top of that. And the bass is mostly quite a crunchy bass sound. Actually, I quite like the bass sound here. There's quite a metallic guitar sound, and there's often stuff that sounds quite industrial coming out of the guitar. Sometimes the two of them are playing the same line but octave apart, which is a very metal thing to do. And all the tracks have got this kind of intense, crunchy, rock, angry feel to it. And the rapping definitely adds to that. It's very kind of angry, shouty rap. Some of it is hard to work out what the words are, partly because it's occasionally it's kind of overdriven. Apparently, so it's sometimes compressed in the pitch range so that it sounds a bit more like it's been shouted through a bullhorn or something. When I can work out the words, that some of them are references to things that I don't know about, but it's I can pick up that it's quite political and definitely quite angry. Musically, it's okay, but I found it a bit monotonous. Really, it's basically one feel. Different. It's not exactly the same notes every time, but it feels very similar all the way through. There's some strong language in it. As I listen more carefully on some new earbuds that I've got, I could pick out the F word quite a lot in here. But you do have to listen fairly closely even to pick that out. Basically, I'm not a fan. it's it's kind of one sound. Without the rapping, I'd be more of a fan, but then I'd think it was quite monotonous. If there was a bit more invention going on musically, it would interest me more, I think. It's it, you know, I've been listening to quite a few rap albums of various types for doing these reviews, and rap per se doesn't draw me in generally, but shouty rap definitely not a fan. Okay, so that's what I think of this album. You might think that I'm a complete, uh, no hoper, no taste whatsoever, and that this is the best thing ever. And if you do, I'd love to know why. So please talk to me through the comments box. That's it from me for now.
The sisters are in, so check the front line. Sisters spent the 80s in the